G'day, battlers, and today we're jumping into the first brand new meta of the new Go Battle League season. Moveset update aside, which is a bit of a disappointment on its own, we still get a couple of brand new cups this season that look like they are going to be a little bit of fun. So the very first one that is going to start straight away as soon as the new season starts and then run until March 9th is the Fantasy Cup Ultra League Edition. I'm pretty sure that I heard Gabby Snyder talk about like this exact rule set but in Great League on the OCIC stream, but regardless, here we are. It is Dragon types, Steel types, and Fairy types in the Ultra League with bans on Galarian, Stunfisk, and Cobalion. It's a pretty simple one, and we'll just get into it, but if you haven't already, do go ahead and subscribe because there are going to be a fair few Meta Simplifieds coming up this season with another new cup next week, I'm pretty sure, as well. So a lot to get through, but let's get into it. For the thumbnail, and now we've got 5 groups on the graphic here. Starting off, it's just smack bang, dead center, well, not dead center, center bottom is the fighter types that are coming in with the steel type, because, you know, steel, dragon, fairy. Now, Escavalier and Lucario are here as the main ones. I've put in Melmetal as well. Melmetal is sort of just a worse version of the other two, so just keep that in mind, but Melmetal is an option as well. And we've sort of got 2 triangles going on. So we focus on the left-hand side of the graphic. We have the fighters, the Registeel, and the fairies with Slurpuff and Tapu Fini in the bottom left. And then the sort of right-hand triangle is the fighters, the sort of classic anti-fighter with Giratina with the ghost type, and a Soul, I don't actually know its name. Solgaleo, I think. That sounds good enough to me. Let me know what it actually is. But you know, it was one of the last form evolutions of the Cosmo little thingo. So hopefully you didn't go the other way, and if you did, it doesn't matter that much. You don't really need it for this meta. And then of course we have Alolan Sandslash in the bottom right. So it's all like really simple in terms of, obviously the fighting types are beating both steels, the Registeel and the Alolan Sandslash. They're losing to the fairies because they don't really care about the fighting damage, and they're also losing to those sort of classic anti-fighter things with the Giratina and the Soul Lion thing. We also have Registeel beating the fairies. It's got the steel type. It does actually lose to Giratina and Soul Dude because Soul Dude has Fire Fang as a fast move, and it's sort of just able to outpace, I guess, sort of just push Registeel out. And then Soul Dude and Giratina generally losing to Alolan Sandslash because Alolan Sandslash has access to Shadow Claw after that last community day. And so obviously doing a lot of damage to psychic types and ghost types. There's a couple of other things as well. So like the fairies are actually generally beating Alolan Sandslash, which is a little weird until you sort of think about the fact that I feel like generally Alolan Sandslash is probably going to be running Ice Punch Bulldoze for that coverage for something like Registeel or like Lucario and well, not so much Escavalier, but Melmetal as well. But there is an option to potentially run Gyro Ball instead, and that would give you a bit more fairy coverage. So it's a little bit pick your poison. You know, either you have better coverage for the steels, or you have better coverage for the fairies, or you can just ditch Ice Punch completely, and you'll have like 2 good coverage moves. Because you don't really need Ice Punch for anything. The only thing you're really shoring up is the dragons, and there aren't very many of them. Giratina being the only one on this graphic, essentially just because it is such a beast in the Ultra League that it's sort of still able to force itself in, basically riding on the ghost typing essentially. But you know, it's an option. I think it's worth looking at as well, to be honest. I think Bulldoze Gyro Ball could be a very workable moveset in this meta. A couple of arrows that aren't on the graphic. So Registeel is generally going to be beating out that Alolan Sandslash. Alolan Sandslash does have, you know, a bit of playback because if it can get up some energy, throw some bulldozers at it, it can win that one out. But, you know, head to head, Registeel is generally going to come out on top with the Focus Blast. We also don't have an arrow between the fairies and the top right group with Giratina and Soul Dude, but fairies are really just going to, like, it's a cakewalk for them. Like, Giratina is obviously dragon type, so it's quite weak to the fairy damage, and then Soul Dude, I mean, it's psychic steel type, and it's doing fire fast damage to a Tapu Fini, who's, you know, doing a water type, so, you know, not going to do much there, and Slurpuff is sort of just able to sort of push through generally as well. But in a nutshell, that is my Fantasy Cup Ultra League Meta Simplified infographic. Pretty short one, not too much to go over, and there's definitely some other picks as well, things that will depend a little bit on how the meta progresses. So for example, like Fortress is eligible, and it has access to Earthquake, so good against the steals. It's got a really good typing. You've got sort of Bug Bite for the Psychic types, although the only Psychic type on this graphic is Soul Dude, and Soul Dude is doing fire, fast move damage, so that's going to sort of melt Fortress away. But there's a bunch of other picks as well, and I sort of do recommend hitting up PV Poke. As I'm recording this, the official PV Poke rankings aren't up yet, but I think he said that he's going to be updating the site tomorrow. So definitely sort of get on there and check out what other picks are eligible, what else sort of piques your interest, because this is just one man's interpretation of how the meta sort of might look. And so thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, especially the subscribe one, and I will see you in the next one, whatever it may be.